Let's open with a prayer. I open this service with a prayer, and I open this prayer with what I know to be the most potent words that I can speak. Thank you. Thank you simply for this center. Thank you for bringing each of us here every Sunday where we connect to like-minded and like-spirited beings, which helps us feel our oneness more personally. Thank you for this philosophy that is built to work if we choose to put down our pain and suffering and know the truth that it is, and that we are, and that is all around us. Continuing this prayer, I recognize that there is only one God, known by many names, but still only one Father, Mother, Parent, Creator of the one life that is perfect, complete, and divine. And it is my life now and the life of all people, all animals, all nature. All of us here, out there, everywhere, and all of us coming together as one family. So from a place of expressing, enjoying life the way Spirit intends us to do, I declare our hearts and minds open as we show up here this morning to learn the spiritual principles that form the foundation of our faith, and to trust what we know is true of Spirit within us, today, tomorrow, eternally. And so it is. All right. Good morning. It's very good to see all of you. I want to say first off, we've had a few technical issues early on. And so if you get a glitch or two here or there, bear with us. It's going to happen just like it's meant to. But I wanted to mention that so you wouldn't think maybe it was on your end. So I am Pat Ferguson, your spiritual director for 2022. And today we are reminded just how connected we all really are. We mourn with our brothers and sisters in the United Kingdom over the loss of their beloved monarch, as they mourned with us on September 11, 2001. We honor both losses today and continue to look to the future with great hope. I, for one, like the old adage that says when things look like they're falling apart, they may actually be falling together. I believe that because to believe otherwise would be like to unallow the perfection of Spirit's life within us to fully express. So we are going to honor 9/11 today, and Vicky is going to talk about our September theme of work. And you may think that means spiritual work, but all work is Spirit's work, be it physical, spiritual, or just the work of enjoying life. So, as is my custom, I open today every Sunday with a prayer for the day and the week, and I light that God candle behind me, and I give it instructions to welcome you in. And I hope you will see it when you pop on the first thing and know that it is there doing its job. And welcome you we do, whether, no matter what denomination you may have come from or were brought up in, or even if this is your first faith experience, we welcome you. We welcome everyone. And the most important thing is for you to know that you are welcome here. Join me in saying our mission and vision statement. To teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind and celebrating all paths to God. And our vision statement, a world that honors and respects all people. This morning, our opening song is a wonderful song about working and looking for the good by Jason Mraz.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone.
song. The doing a good work is in the world is a wonder to behold. I am the practitioner of the week with a major assist from the lovely Beverly Iyengar. Welcome, Beverly, with our spiritual reading and meditation.
Thank you so much, Pat. That put a smile on my face for certain to start this time together. And I am the spiritual reader today, reading the spiritual message today. Let me get that corrected. And doing the contemplation that we have planned with it. And the reading came from Science of Mind magazine for this month. And it was written by Reverend Kathleen Sibley. She was a minister in Prescott, and I had the opportunity to hear her speak once a while ago. This was written as an affirmative prayer, and I have left out some parts and kept others as a part of the reading to better align it with our topic today. So it's called Celebrating the Power and the Presence, the Work of God. There is one power and presence that is the universal mind. It is the power that pulls together atoms into elements and pulls together a team that can change the world. It is the power we call life. It takes all forms and inhabits them while remaining something more than the sum of its parts. We are those parts. We are the divine incarnation of life itself. That one power has one activity. It creates. It creates according to an identifiable pattern. All experiences, all form, all beingness is the creation of this life energy. Whether we are a cashier or a brain surgeon, what we are doing is the activity of God. The divine being is doing its work in, as, and through each of us. I speak my word for all beings everywhere, remembering that divine work may not be flashy, but it is always joy-filled and prospers everyone. Spirit is supporting its own expression, whether that expression seems silly or serious, innovative or innate. Whatever, Spirit is at work in each of us, uncovering our self-imposed nonsense and shining forth this glorious truth. I recognize the divine at work. In all work, it's all God. For the contemplation, if you want to seek your best contemplative place and close your eyes. And settle into that peaceful knowingness. I am so grateful to celebrate the work of the divine. Work is a spiritual practice. Whatever your job, attitude, identity, and expectation is everything. Vision without work work without vision is drudgery. Vision without work is self-deception. Our work can come from our spiritual life. Our work can come from opportunities of spiritual growth. Work is a spiritual practice. I am so grateful to celebrate the work of the divine. Thank you. I want to close with a story that just reinforced the idea of work for me yesterday. I was hard at work on working out what I was going to put on my contemplations today, and the doorbell rang. It was the young man who was delivering my Instacart order. Because of some respiratory things, I don't go out much, and Instacart has been something that has indeed supported me. And the young man that came yesterday was just a delight. We spoke briefly at the door, talked about the pandemic, and he said, you know, I used to be a server online, in line, and then I had the opportunity when that job went away because of the pandemic to take this one. And this job lets me know that every day I am helping people, and it is a great joy. And I went, thank you, Spirit, for this reinforcement of what I know and is now placed securely in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Bev. You know, we're seeing that everywhere. Someone didn't stop Kevin, but passed Kevin walking yesterday, about a 14-year-old boy, and he just said, hello, I just wanted to say hi and spread some positivity. And then he just kept walking.
Oh, wow.
And so we're just seeing that, you know, and this is what I know we're doing. We're spreading that, and it's making a difference. Thank you, Bev.
And for those watching this on the video, I am Vicky Jeter, a practitioner for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. I absolutely love the opportunity to be speaking today, as our theme, as you have heard, for this month is work. Last week, Mark Anthony Lord gave us powerful inspiration on forgiveness as work for all of us to do, both spiritually and in human terms. Practicing forgiveness regularly is a foundation for success in everything else we want to experience. Practicing forgiveness clears the path to resolving personal and collective challenges that we're facing all over the world now. And so today we're going to shift to the perspective of the significance of work in building a life that matters. Now that's where Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide started. I said to myself, so what does that mean? How could it be righteously said that any life doesn't matter? And then I realized, if you would not think of that about anyone else, do we ever think that about ourselves? So the first realization I had and that I want to offer to you is that having this personal experience that your life and what you do matters to anyone is dependent first on your life mattering to you. So when you let your life shine clearly and confidently, the world will see clearly the light that you shine. Spirit doesn't make mistakes. So you were perfectly and wonderfully made, and Spirit doesn't waste anything. So all that you do serves the greatest good, whether you see it or not. Now, knowing this in our heads can be a far cry from the weight of doubt that we can feel in our hearts. So perhaps the question is more accurately expressed as, what would it take to have the experience of how much my life matters? So I'm changing our focus today to experiencing that my life and what I do matters. I'm inviting you to have the experience that your life and what you do matters every moment of every day. So in preparing for this and checking it all out, I discovered that people see this from a surprising number of perspectives that I never really thought about. So, do you already live from knowing that what you bring to life matters? Have you searched seemingly in vain to discover what your purpose for being here is? How many times do we hear people say, I don't know what my purpose is? Maybe you relate to looking for a job or a career that you love. People will say, find what you love. Maybe you've longed to find work that you are meant to do other than the job that pays your bills. Perhaps your quest is simply, how may I be of service? Now, each of these perspectives is slightly unique to the others. And it's really most likely that we've all felt these at some point. But there is another familiar yet less commonly used term that makes this discussion deeper, goes into spirit as our source and first cause, and the fulfillment of purpose through all creation. And that term is vocation. The word vocation comes from the Latin vocare, which I thought was very interesting. Vocare, or voice. Vocation is about listening to the voice of spirit within and allowing it to express in, as, and through us. So when you're in prayer meditation and when you come up against the still small voice, you can know not only is that the voice of spirit within you, but also that voice expresses your authentic divine vocation, that seed of perfect purpose for you and your being that came with you into this life. It's a part of your spirit and soul fabric, and it comes with us when we're created into whatever our next expression is. And I'm putting it this way because one of the things I really want to leave you all with is that we're timeless. You know, in our community here, we might be seen as, you know, most of us in golden years or what have you. That doesn't mean that your vocation is running out. Our vocation is a part of our being that was before we got here and will be when we leave here. And Lord knows what all Spirit's doing with that seed of divine vocation that's within us, so that wherever you are, however you see yourself in the rhythm and the path of your life, absolutely know that Spirit is still working your divine vocation through you, no matter what you're doing with your day. So this perspective also encompasses what we've been learning about the importance of our connection to nature and living in alignment with our own nature, strengthening that connection and coming to trust that allows for being fulfilled with ease. By nature, we are intended to effortlessly discover our vocation and grow into our fullest potentials with relative ease. So often, you know, coming up through high school and everybody says, well, what are you going to do with your life? And most kids in our culture, well, maybe not all, certainly not all. There are some kids who do know what they want to do and they know how to go for it. But so often people will start even college and say, well, I took the first 2 years to try to figure out what I'm doing. And I believe that if we could instill in people that there is something within them that knows and that they can tap into it internally is part of the key. And we can do that at any time. Ernest Holmes said, we must cleave to the good and trust absolutely in the law of God to bring about any desired result. Spirit will mold our purposes when we allow it to do so. As we learn to depend more and more upon the perfect law, which is the nature inherent within each being and form, we shall find that the outward things which are necessary to our good will be provided. And that's from Science of Mind, page 432, paragraph 2. Embarking on the spiritual perspective is taking the inward journey of revealing the seed and allowing it to grow. The Quakers say, let your life speak. Now, you might not have ever thought it that way, but I'm like, yeah, everything that expresses in God actually can be in relationship like it's an entity. And here they're saying your life is an entity. Your life is being generated out of you, but it's an entity that you can actually have a relationship with. Your whole life is like a being in relationship with you. So in prayer and meditation, opening yourself up and just saying, life, my life, speak to me. When we allow our lives to begin to speak to us, we would be wise to then listen. How often do we hear and then we don't follow? Our life says the very best parts of your being have somehow been set aside or gone unnoticed, very likely. These are essential elements that must be lived aloud in each moment and invited into being as you. Letting your life speak is about making room in your soul for the signs and messages in and around to uplift you. Now, synchronicities are among the greatest spiritual signs for upliftment and confirmation of divine right action. When synchronicities are unfolding, the slightest reflection or action can open up to life-changing revelations, choices, and events. I have an example here. Before Vernon and I moved here, and this is like back in March of 2006, the day we had to make the decision whether or not to move, Vernon had been offered this job opportunity, and he had to make a decision like very quickly. And at the point where we had to make that decision, I came out of my house that morning and there were construction workers digging up the road in front of our house. They were doing a pipe underneath, and so the whole road was torn up. And I'm standing there watching, and a guy with a backhoe comes and demolishes our brick mailbox. And he just like hit it with one little swipe, and it just went plop. And that mailbox had our address on it. And I called up Vernon and I said, honey, I said, we don't live here anymore. Our address is gone. How could I possibly miss that moment of Spirit's confirmation that we did not live at that address anymore? I told Vernon, I know Spirit is moving us to Kentucky. So when your life speaks to you, it invites the truth to be known within you first. Then as you expressing, as your soul listens for the love, strength, determination, and inspiration that will impel you forward. Vocation is not a title, a role, a job, or an occupation. All those things are part of it, but that's not what defines your vocation. It is the quiet yes whispered to your soul, and your life never stops speaking to you in these ways. So, now, here's another example from my life that led to who and where I am today. When I was 10 years old, my maternal grandmother took me to a presentation by the faith healer Catherine Kuhlman. I don't know, some of you may recall ever having heard about her. At one time, she was fairly recognized, and there was, lots of people said she was a charlatan, and lots of people said she was an honest to God, dyed in the wool healer. And we went with the intention that my cerebral palsy would be healed. I was not physically healed that day, but I did hear and heed the still small voice of my vocation as I came away from there knowing anyone can experience healing, and that I would be dedicated to demonstrating that truth in my life. So, vocation is the divine energy already and always at work within you. But we can lose touch with it. The divine vocation, the unique gift we were born with, can get buried under life's trials and traumas. We forget who we are. We forget we are Spirit's masterpiece in motion. Now, we're going to watch a short video clip that demonstrates this. It comes from the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance. I know some of you will be familiar with this if you've seen the movie. For those of you who haven't seen it, the clip will open with two characters on a golf course at night. The man is Bagger Vance, who is mentoring a little boy named Harley Greaves about divine vocation, which Bagger Vance calls our authentic swing. Now, if you can, take a moment to turn up your speakers if you like. And if you're hearing just fine, don't worry about it. But listen and watch carefully. This is about 3 minutes long, and then we'll move on from there. So you won't have to listen very carefully for very long. So Vernon, can you go ahead and mute us and play the video, please?
Longer, a little shorter.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good. One stride equals a yard. You going over to the tee and start counting.
Top golfers always try to get a leg up in the competition by having the men they trusted most sneak onto the course at night and do their own measurements. So Bagger and I walked the course that night, measuring away. Bagger never wrote down a number. He filed it all in his head.
Hit one a little harder. Let's go and do that again. Yeah, but right here is where this game is won. Right here on the green. First you got to see it. Sun gonna be there in the morning. Over there in the afternoon. Funny thing is, the blades of grass gonna follow the sun. The green is gonna shift. That same putt is gonna go one way in the morning, the other in the afternoon. One way in the morning, the other in the afternoon. You see that? Yeah, golf course put folk through quite a punishment. It lives and breathes just like us.
You think Junior can win?
Yeah, if he can find his authentic swing.
Authentic?
Go on, hit one more for me. Yep, inside each and every one of us is one true authentic swing. Something we was born with. Something that's ours and ours alone. Something can't be taught to you or learned. Something that got to be remembered. Over time, the world can rob us of that swing and get buried inside us under all our wouldas and wouldas and shouldas. Some folk even forget what their swing was like. Some folk even forget what their swing was like. You keep swinging.
But I don't have any balls.
Don't worry about hitting the ball or where it's gonna go. Just swing the club, feel the club. Close your eyes.
Close my...
You can't make that ball go in that hole. You have to let it. I want you to feel the club rolling off your club. Feel the weight of the club. Sailing on the perfect line, dropping out that high, soft as butter. Listen to the sounds of the night. Just keep swinging that club till you feel the breeze inside each and seeing every one of us is one rustling through the tree, authentic swing. Just keep swinging that club till authentic swing. You're part of the whole thing. Something we was born with. Take a deep breath. That's a good thing. Listen to the sounds of the night.
I don't feel a thing.
Just keep swinging that club till you're part of the whole thing. That's a good thing. Can you see it? All right, time to go.
Why?
Notice that Harley did not have to force hitting the ball or the direction the ball went. Notice the significance of working with the natural law in the conditions around us, like the blades of grass on the golf course that will follow the sun. When you practice being in touch with nature, that kind of sensitivity, that kind of innate knowing will come with you. Every one of us, every being on earth is born with that authentic swing. When you discover your swing and go with it, everything begins to fall into place naturally. It's like finding the key piece to a jigsaw puzzle. Once that piece is in place, it's easy to start seeing how all the pieces will fall together perfectly. This focus is upon a truism that Parker Palmer pointed out when he said, before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen for what it intends to do with you. This goes along with remembering that the earth doesn't belong to us. We belong to the earth. Harley hit the ball into the hole effortlessly when he allowed himself to belong and become one with the golf course. Before you tell your life what truths and values you have decided to live on, let your life tell you the truths and values you represent. Each day is an opportunity to embark upon a personal journey to make meaning out of life through our opportunities and actions, big or small. Wonder is all that is needed to discover what is within in such a way that light invites us to pour ourselves out into the world over and over again. It's a rediscovery every day. As our true vocation, our unique, authentic swing begins to emerge, it weaves together the idea of the self and the work in our service to the world. Frederick Bergner asserted when he defined vocation as the place where your deep gladness meets the world's deep need. This is the beloved work of everyday wonder that points us toward our soul's journey and charge, and invites us to pour ourselves into the world. This invitation is also to embark upon an adventure of spiritual practice, finding the good, like the song said, in the work we do in every person, every task, every project, every design, every conversation. And by taking every opportunity to do the good that we can, with joy. Oprah Winfrey said, I got this from when we did First Wednesday the other night. I was just fascinated because the piece that we had chosen to make for First Wednesday, I didn't even realize the very first thing she says is everybody has a calling, and your real job in life is to figure out as soon as possible what that is for you and what and who you are meant to be, and to begin to honor that within yourself in the best way possible each day that you live. So I have a closing story that comes actually from our community members who happen to be in the room this morning, George and Viola in Idaho. Thank you guys. They have a good friend who is a teacher and a school counselor, but mostly she's a dedicated mom to a son who has had brittle diabetes from childhood. Brittle means that his blood sugar level could swing wildly between highs and lows almost without warning. So she really had to be dedicated to him from the time he was way little. As her son was growing up, the mom discovered she had a passion to learn about clowning. She went to professional clown school. Her passion in turn inspired her son to go to clown school too as he grew up. Together, mother and son would go to the local hospitals in full clown character to bring joy and hope to all the patients. One day, the mom found out that the real Patch Adams, and think about that for a moment, this is Patch Adams, like from the movie Patch Adams several years ago. He was coming to speak at the university there in Idaho. She knew she had to be there to hear this man who first proved beyond doubt that relationship, heartfelt connection, and laughter generates healing fields for people. So that day, she went to hear Patch Adams speak in her full clown character. At the end of the presentation, she went up to meet Patch and get his autograph. Not surprisingly, he was intrigued by her and started a conversation. Patch asked her if she knew where they could go clowning. She said, sure, my son and I go to the hospital and visit patients all the time. Right then, that afternoon, Patch Adams went with her to clown around for the patients in the hospital she visited all the time. It was not necessary for this beautiful woman to intend to work with Patch Adams one day, culminating in this precious opportunity of communion in service. What she did do was follow what brought her inspiration and joy. One step at a time, one day at a time. Spirit brought the culmination within these two beings about effortlessly, just like the little boy whose golf ball went into the hole when he was in natural alignment with the course. So this week, allow your imagining that the vocation you were born with can express your authentic swing, and it cannot be held back. Listen and look into each daily opportunity as your divine purpose fulfilled, no matter how small or large the task, no matter whether you're having fun or working with intention. As you stand doubtlessly in the place of that assurance, the full picture of your divine vocation will emerge through you and your opportunities for fulfillment every day. So let's take a little breath. It feels like that was a lot. And before we shift into prayer, I just want to announce, I'm so excited to be able to announce this. In the process of pulling this all together, we realized that this is going to be our first opportunity for LCSL to offer movie night by Zoom. On the 30th of September, which is of course, the last day of the month, we're going to do, it's a Friday evening, we're going to do movie night, and we'll give you more details later. But you know, people are going to want to have time to talk, and we're not really going to have time after 2 hours. Most people are going to need to get off of a Zoom. So the following Wednesday, first Wednesday in October, we will come back and have the wonderful, wonderful metaphysics in that whole movie as our topic for first Wednesday in October. So mark your calendars, plan on bringing popcorn or whatever you like to share a movie. This works out very, very well. And on that note of love and joy, I will offer us our closing treatment. Taking that pausing breath, because taking that pause is as important and effective when we're on the leading edge as it is when we're challenged. And it creates that buffer that says that even when we are totally in connection, totally in joy, still we create the time to breathe, to have rhythm and harmony within ourselves. And in this atmosphere, it is my pleasure and my privilege to recognize the one that is everything about this experience, everything about how each one is receiving it, everything about what each one of you has had to bring to this day. And from that place of unity in mind, heart, and soul, I realize that seeds are germinating, sparks have been reignited, that all of us are cumulatively as a community, coming into the sense of individual and divine vocation. And that the joy has only just begun. And in this moment, I offer you the opportunity, speak your word and listen to your life speak back for just a moment. And in gratitude, releasing it into the law, knowing it is done, I let it be, and so it is.
Thank you, Vicky. That brings us to our prosperity affirmation and gives me the opportunity to remind you that we gratefully, and I certainly hope graciously, accept your givingness to us, because it is the thing that keeps us able to continue to serve you today, tomorrow, and into the future. Let's say that prosperity affirmation together if you are indeed willing. I don't feel the need to tell you all the ways you can contribute. They're all on the chat line, and you're certainly and hopefully welcome to find that information if you need it, and if not, ask one of us. So, September prosperity affirmation. I need to get it pulled up so that I can read it to you. Thank you. And this comes from our mystic intern. Do you ever wonder who that mystic intern is? On occasions I do. My prosperity is divinely supplied. I'm sorry. I'm going to start over. My prosperity is divinely supplied and generously shared. It works wonders in the world. Would you say it with me? My prosperity is divinely supplied and generously shared. It works wonders in the world. Yes. And Pat, I return to you to say a blessing for our offering.
Thank you, Bev. One God, one life, one supply. Excuse me. Thank you for being the light within that halos our time, talents, and treasures, and causes us to understand that the flow of all three from us is the exact same flow that circles back to us multiplied. We are so grateful to be blessed in such ways, both as a center and individually. Blessing the gift and the giver and our sinner, that is the blessed receiver. With great gratitude, I lift these words of appreciation into the law that only says yes, and I release them there to become evident. And so it is.
So it is. And then I have the opportunity to share with you the announcements for this week. And the first announcement relates to our men's group. It is coming up Thursday, September the 15th at 6:30 p.m. good old Eastern Standard Time. Our next week's speaker is Reverend Patrick Cerrone, and his talk is entitled, "A Bundle of Joy?" ? That should be titillating enough to bring you back for next week. A bundle of joy. Please don't forget to stay after the closing song if you have something you'd like to share, if you have questions you want to ask, if you want to tell us how you're doing, if you want to share anything with our speaker, please stay with us after the closing song. Together, let us all remember, looking at each other heart to heart, you are magnificent, each and every one of us.
Yes, you are. Thank you, Bev. Thank you so much. Our closing song, Think It, Dream It, Believe It, Do It by Karen Drucker. In a world so torn apart by rivalry, anger, and hatred, we have the privileged vocation to be living signs of a love that can bridge all divisions and heal all wounds. Yes. Ending this service as we began, for the collective, I say thank you. Thank you, Spirit, for helping us to be open to new possibilities tomorrow that today we might not even be able to imagine. Thank you for reminding us to listen to our own lives, speak words of wisdom about who we are authentically. And then thank you for supporting us when we use that authenticity as part for, I'm sorry, privileged vocation for bridging those divides in the world that faces so many of them today, tomorrow, and in the future. We are the hope of the world, and we will hold the light until the others arrive. We are indeed blessed to have this day, our yesterday, and all of our tomorrows, and we are rewarded on our interconnectedness. We are simply blessed, and we know it, and we appreciate all we have and all we are capable of being when we accept who we are and whose we are. And on these and multiple gratitudes, including unlimited chances to do the work we are good at and that we long to do, I lift these words into a law that always says yes, automatically and impartially. And there I release them. And so it is.